Okay. And with that, I'm excited to introduce our first speaker. So at Fuckup Nights, we don't really believe in reading out long, boring speaker bios. The speakers will probably tell you lots about themselves. So what we do is 3 fun facts. Okay. Our first speaker, Jermaine, he once ate a cricket while enduring food poisoning during a 4-hour food tour in Mexico. That doesn't sound good at all. Oxtail is his favorite food, and he's eaten it in 6 different countries, and I want to take a moment to tell you that this man is very passionate about oxtail, because there is a note here that says, for the love of God, it's oxtail, not oxtails. I don't know if this is a common error, but he wanted me to point that out. And finally, Jermaine, he's been playing video games for 30 years now, and the most time he's spent on a game is 350 hours. The Witcher 3, the Mass Effect trilogy are the games that he's hit the 350-hour mark with. There's still lots of time to hit 350 hours. All right, Jermaine, please join us on the stage.
Thank you, everyone. So we already had our first fuck up of the night. The full name is Jermaine L. Murray. You got to say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest. And you know what? The L will make sense. Oh wait, I just realized L, fuck up, fail. Like it's destined. I should not attribute that with my name. But I am called the Jobfather. I am a career coach and a recruiter, and I specialize in helping black folks get jobs in tech. Number of different reasons, but long story short, we're extremely underrepresented and extremely underpaid in this industry, and we lack for a lot of advocates. So I always had a big mouth, why not advocate? And this is gonna be my supervillain origin story. So for me, everything starts with family. This is a picture of my family, my amazing, gorgeous, beautiful mom, my amazing, gorgeous sister, and then this cocky little shit in the background. That's me. My whole entire life, I've dealt with imposter syndrome or trying to figure out who the fuck I actually am. And this is because of just a kind of a complicated relationship with my dad and always trying to live in his shadow. He wasn't always there, but when he was there, he made a huge impact. I'm talking love bomb, I'm talking, you know, the whole entire situation where you feel someone's warmth and then when they're gone, it's cold. So the whole time I'm trying to figure out who I am. But my mom has always been in my corner, and my sister has always been there with me. My sister has Down syndrome. So my whole entire life, my mom has said to me over and over again, hey, when I die, because Jamaican parents always love to like throw their morality in their children's face, when I die, it's gonna be you that has to take care of your sister. It's gonna be you that has to speak for her. You can understand her, the world can't. And it's always put in my head that like, if I see someone that can't speak up for themselves, I speak up for them. So with that said, I actually went to school for broadcast journalism, and I work in HR, so that's another fuck up. And I chose broadcast journalism because I fucked up in grade 11. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was like, yo, I think I want to be an actor on Monday. And then on Tuesday, I'm like, yo, I think I want to be a lawyer. And then on Wednesday, I was like, yo, you know what? I think I want to make the NBA. And y'all can tell from my height that I ain't making the NBA. But when I graduated school, I had a hard time finding a job. I got my first radio gig at SiriusXM in Liberty Village. And that shit lasted 6 months until they canceled us unceremoniously. And I was like, yo, what am I gonna do for a job? So I was like, you know what? Actors always take up these different roles, like they're waiters, and you always hear about them doing stuff before their big break. That's me. So I was like, all right, I'll just grab any old job. I ended up getting like 30 different jobs before I became like an actual recruiter. These 2 were the most impactful. Good Life Fitness and Enterprise Rental Car. And as you can tell, I was a very happy employee. God damn, I look miserable. But it was from a lack of options. I was also the first person in my family to graduate from university. So like, there was no one I could ask questions for. Because I believe you and me, if I had a cousin that came up to me like, yo, Jermaine, I want to go to school for journalism. I'd be like, bro, go to school for like computer science or like, you know, or business. You can be a journalist without having the degree. I know a lot of journalists that are great that don't have the degree. But I just didn't have any direction. So one day, a recruiter reached out to me from a place called the Leadership Academy. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be name dropping. From the leadership agency, and basically he recruited me for a role to sell construction equipment in Uxbridge. The fuck am I doing in Uxbridge? But this is what I was selling. And this here is actually a fuck up. Like, you know, they tell you, yo, you gotta properly chain your shit before you pull out, or you're gonna like fuck up everyone's cars. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I pulled out of the trailer lot. And yeah, all the machines fell off of the tow truck. It was wild. This Ford F-250 is the car that they gave me, and this was not a fit. But at the time, my parents were going through a divorce. My mom, who was, in my opinion, on the right side of the divorce, needed money for lawyers and laws. And before you know it, the little paycheck from Enterprise and Good Life wasn't adding up. We found ourselves in a shit ton of debt. So I took this job because they offered me the highest base salary I had at the time. At Enterprise, I was making 30. They offered me 70. And a free truck with insurance. And I lived in Brampton. Yeah, that's for a reason. But it did lead to what I would call the most defining fuck up of my entire life. I would say before this moment, I actually lived in the bubble, and I didn't know what failure was. I didn't know what fucking up was. I didn't know what like learning from your mistakes was. And that fuck up led to us unfortunately losing our house. So the fuck up was that I took this job while my parents was going through a divorce, and it was like a perfect storm. They're going through their divorce, their mortgage was due, and I just took a job, and the mortgage company said to me like, yo, if you have less than 3 months at this job, we're not gonna offer you a mortgage. Your mortgage is up for renewal, so you either pay the penalty with the points or you pay it out of the equity. And before you know it, we actually couldn't afford our mortgage. We had more debt, and the mortgage payment was more than the equity on the house, so we had to sell. And this was in top of 2018, right before the bust. So it felt like a major fuck up. I remember my mom crying because like she's from Jamaica, it's like she didn't have anything. This was her whole entire like life, and we had to pack it up, and we're like, you know, we'll try again for like another place next year. And then y'all know what happened with the housing market. So it was a fuck up, and I had that responsibility on my head for the longest time because of these lack of options in like figuring out what I wanted to do for myself. But eventually, I got my first job as a recruiter. I said to myself, Jermaine, if you could be anything in this world, what would it be? And I said, yo, I want people to pay me to play video games. And I was like, you know what? I've seen the work e-gamers put in. I don't want to fuck up my hobby like that. So I would just rather want to be in a spot where they'll give me a free PlayStation for free. And then I was like, you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a recruiter. And I went and I applied for a job at an agency. I got it, and things were great for the first year. And when I went to my first networking event, actually, one of them was actually here at 111, I realized that there were a lot of people that looked like me that weren't being engaged at these events, and we weren't being engaged at these jobs. And I realized that I could not only put together a community, but I could facilitate people actually getting into tech and like making their lives better. To the point where I was like, if somebody was in a situation that I was in with my house, they wouldn't have to be like, fuck, what am I gonna do? What kind of job am I gonna get? They could just be like, yo, I'm just gonna call Jermaine. So we made the Afro-Caribbean IT network group. And every time I went to a networking event, I looked out for the black people. I talked to them. I was like, yo, I'm a recruiter. I can help you get jobs. Even if it's not through me, if you want prep for your interview, I got you. Don't even worry about that. And before we knew, in the first year, I helped 67 black people get new jobs in tech. I was feeling myself. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was like, fuck, I'm the GOAT. I remember thinking to myself, I was like, yo, when Michael looked at a basketball, it must have been the same way I looked at a LinkedIn. And, you know, things were going well, and I started really feeling myself. And I remember my first couple of months in 2019, I helped like a lot of black people get jobs, and I helped bill for my agency like $300,000. So I was like, yo, can mans get a raise? And they're like, yo, no. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get a new job, whatever. And that was literally on this day, I was like, God, give me a sign if I need to get a new job. And I fucked up. I fell down the stairs, ripped up my shirt. Anyone that knows me knows how common it is for me to fall downstairs. But I took that as a sign. I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna pursue a new job. Now, this is also the next fuck up. I'm a messy dude. So I got a new job at a smaller company that was started by rivals of my current company in the same building. So every time I went for lunch, I ran into my old manager. And it was like an unsight thing. Like I'm saying, like, I see her, she see me, and we just go the opposite ways. But the worst thing was the employers were racist. Yeah, surprise. They were racist. And I remember the Raptors just won the championship. I started on the Monday. The parade was on the Monday. And then on the Thursday, they took me in a back room and they're like, you know, we don't like the way that you talk. And I'm like, the fuck is that supposed to be? And they're like, you know, Jermaine, we want you to talk more like Bob. Bob's a 50-year-old white man. And I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work for me. So I started looking for a new job. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and make this shit work. That shit didn't work. So in my desperation to get clear, I was like, yo, I need to do something drastic. What's the most uncomfortable thing I can do right there in this very moment? And the answer was, move to Montreal. I had never been to Montreal before. I don't speak French. I didn't even have any friends in Montreal. It was interesting. But I had a blast, I learned a lot, and in that second year, which was 2020, we ended up helping 85 black people get new jobs in tech. And it was just fucking amazing. Thank you, thank you. And it's like, anybody watch Avatar: The Last Airbender? All right, if you like Uncle Iroh, clap your hands for me. All right. So Uncle Iroh had this thing where he's like, I remember I was watching for like the second or third time. You know, you guys know I like to do my stuff a lot from the video games, right? So I'm watching, I don't know what it is, but he says something along the lines of, sometimes in order to help ourselves or heal ourselves, we have to help other people. And I was like, oh shit, that's some profound shit for like a 15-year-old cartoon for like aimed at 5-year-olds, but it slaps. So I made a public declaration on December 29th, 2020, that I'm gonna be making an effort to help 100 black people get new jobs in tech in 2021. And I totally apted Malcolm X's by any means necessary, because I said, fuck it, by any means necessary. If I need to coach you for an interview, if I need to do your resume, if I need to walk into that motherfucking place and be like, yo, this is the other Jermaine, hire him, that's what we're gonna do. And I'm happy to say that, and what was it, September, what the fuck? Wait. It's all right, we work in tech. September 2021, we passed the 100-person mark. And by December 2021, we passed the 126-person mark. These are my friends. These are my best friends. These are the homies that have been with me from day one. This is my friend Adrian. This is the guy that gave me the name Jobfather. He was person 34 that we helped that year. And he worked at Good Life. He's the one that got me the job at Good Life. See how life works? He got me the job at Good Life, and as you guys know, during 2021, Good Life was shut down. And he was having trouble getting a job. You know, he was on unemployment, and we helped him get a job. We didn't just help him get a job. We helped him get a job that the base salary covered what he made total comp. I'm talking commission and base at Good Life, plus base on top of that. And I remember he looked at me, he's like, my nigga, sorry. He's like, fuck it. He's like, my nigga. He's like, yo, you got me a job that the base salary pays more than my total comp in my last place by a decent amount, and it's remote. He's like, bro, you got me an offer I can't refuse. You're the fucking Jobfather. And I'm like, yo, I know marketing. I know marketing. I'm dating a marketer. That's good marketing. And I ran with it. And honestly, every single person that you see here, we helped them get a job, one way or the other. Full-time, part-time, it's in tech. And these are my homies. So it was like the same guys that were with me that actually had to carry me out of my house when we sold it. I was able to turn around and like felt like I paid them back by able to like, you know, opening up their career options. Or one of them even said to me like, yo, if I ever get laid off, like the way I walk is bossy. Jamaicans know what bossy means. The way I walk is bossy. If I ever get fired, I don't have to sweat, even though I'm sweating right now. I don't gotta sweat, I just call Jermaine and it's done. And I love that because I didn't have that support network. I was fucked up when I didn't have that support network. But now I know that if someone else is in that same situation, at least I can give them a little bit of guidance. And I will tell you, if I had that little piece of guidance during those tough times, I would have slept a lot easier. And so, these are the full circle moments. This is a celebration of when we hit 100 people. My partner is an amazing planner. She helped with the celebrations. And then for my birthday, she got me this trophy. It says, Jermaine the Jobfather, room for everybody black. And yeah, she quoted Issa Rae, and I'm like, yo, I love that. I love that. That's amazing. And now I'm living a life that I never imagined. Like I have total freedom. I have security. But more than anything else, I'm able to actually help my community. So anybody doesn't have to feel like, fuck, man, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. At the very least, they can come to me, right? Either through our socials where they can see our resources, or they can just have a conversation and I'll answer or try to give as much guidance as possible. There are no perfect answers, but at the very least, you need someone to be like, yo, that's not a crazy idea, or like, yo, don't do that, you gonna fuck up. And now I'm that person for people. Today's date is April 13th, 2023. We now have helped 371 black people get new jobs in tech, and we're trying to get to 500. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Jermaine, and to quote another Jamaican, Biggie Smalls, I grew up a fucking screw up. Can I bang the gong?
Yeah, hell yeah.
My bad.
Thank you, Jermaine L. Tribe Called Quest Murray.
Thank you.
That was an amazing story, man. Thank you so much. We have time for a couple of questions. Does anybody have a question for the Jobfather?